Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to another book review. Today we are talking about Beneath the Stairs by Jennifer Fawcett. Right off the bat, this book was sent to me for review, for free, from Atria Publishing, so many thanks to them. But it will not color my review whatsoever. There's no bias here. I've both negatively and positively reviewed them. Mostly positive, I will be honest. They're usually just like either 5 stars for me or 1 star. Sometimes, they're complete misses or I absolutely adore them. This one is the first one I'm kind of feeling meh about, but I will state I absolutely loved this book for 300 pages. It is a 5-star read up until a certain point, and I will discuss that in the spoiler section later on in the video. I'll try to allude to what happened that I didn't like it without spoilers, but pretty much I need to go in depth with why I didn't like the last 30 pages here. So this is a book about a woman who it's kind of like It in that it flashes back and forth. It by Stephen King flashes back and forth to her childhood with her and 3 of her gal pals, and one of the girls' brothers are very important to the storyline. His name's Mitchell. The main character's named Claire. The other girls are Monica, Lori, and Abby. So they find this abandoned house out in the woods called the Octagon House because it's shaped like an octagon. And one of the girls gets trapped in the basement. And that's the catalyst to the entire thing. It might be something supernatural. It might not be, so on and so forth. I did like the jumping back and forth a lot. Immensely. I think it was a lot of fun hanging out with a group of young girls because you don't see too many coming-of-age novels about groups of girls. At least I haven't found. In fact, if you'd like to recommend me some down there in the doobly-doo, I would love to read them because I'm tired of the Stand By Me format, if you want to call it that, where it's just a bunch of boys on an adventure or whatever. I really want to read about groups of girls. So one of the girls, Abby, when she is 14, gets trapped in a basement. I won't tell you how, because it's not a spoiler, but it's the catalyst to the whole thing, and I want you to enjoy it for yourself. Go decades later, they're all grown up, and Abby has returned to the house, possibly attempted suicide, and her friend Claire, who is the main POV character, her sections are written in first person, but the flashbacks and other characters are written in third person. So if that aggravates you, just know that that's what's going on. So years later, Abby goes back to the house, attempts suicide. She makes it. She's in the hospital. Claire comes back to the town of Sumner's Mills and tries to figure out why Abby went back, why she would ever go back because of the traumatic stuff that happened to her when she was younger. And the book takes off from there. The book, it's fantastic. It really, really is good up until those last 30 pages. I loved let's just go with the characters, pacing, and dread, what I normally do. So the characters, I loved every single character. I especially loved main character Claire. I even loved the nurse who was taking care of Ben. I can't remember her name right now, but I really loved her little side story. Not really subplot, but her little side story. I think her name was Ruth Ann. There you go. Ruth Ann. I liked Ben a lot. I wanted more of Ben. We got enough to suffice, but I wanted more of Ben. And Ben's final chapter should have been it. It really should have stopped there. If she was going to add the very last chapter, that should have been beforehand, and then she should have got rid of the chapter after Ben's last chapter completely, and we'll discuss that in the spoiler section. But the pacing is off the charts. I read this one aloud to my wife, and we did like 50 pages a day. We couldn't read every single day, so it took us about 3 weeks to get through it. But every single time we got stuck in, we got stuck in. I never wanted to stop. Shell was having a blast. It was so easy and fun to read. Although I'm sure it will be. Okay, I don't like mentioning this, especially since this is an advanced review copy, but there are a lot of errors in here. I'm sure Atria's final products are usually super clean, so I'm not going to mention them. They ask you not to in the book, in the advanced review copy. But there were a lot of errors, and I did stumble, but for the most part, I love the way Jennifer Fawcett writes. There's quite a bit of repetition for inflection, and it's just her style, but I found it sometimes to be, especially reading it out loud, it was, I don't know, it just wasn't as easy to read. Like she said, she would do something like, she put on the backpack, no, she fills up a backpack, puts on the backpack is on her back, just using the same word, but I think it's for emphasis mostly, even though that example is not actually in the book. She does that quite a lot, where she'll reuse the same word in like the first 3 sentences. But other than that, I love the writing. It blew by, had a lot of fun with it. Now, as far as the dread here is off the charts because you don't know what the hell is in the basement. When you do find out, I wouldn't say it delivered completely because the ending is still too vague for my liking. I would have liked to have known exactly what happened there at the end, but because it involved Claire, and Claire was... spoilers, but I'm not going to say it, but you don't have to click away yet. But it's just Claire was not in a place to be a part of the ending. I guess is the best way to put it. Anywho, but I did enjoy the surreal aspects of the book, but sometimes it was a little bit too vague. Now, we're going to get into spoilers. You guys listen to all that. I'm going to give the book a tentative 3.5 stars. I was at 5 stars for the entire book, but this one thing I'm about to talk about in the spoilers has dropped. I originally last night I was so mad I wanted to give it a 3. It did almost ruin the experience for me that much. But now in the light of day, I've calmed down a little bit, but I'm still only going to give it 3.5 stars for now. I might bump it up, and if I do, I'll let you know in the book birthday video when it comes out on February 22nd. Okay, so now we have to get into spoilers, and this involves the ending of the book. So if you have any will to read this book, please click away now. So spoilers in 3, 2, 1, spoilers. After Ben's final chapter... Okay, let me rewind here. So Claire gets... she throws herself down the stairs with another character. In case you guys are watching the spoiler section, even though you want to read the book, I'm still going to try and stay vague. She throws herself down the stairs. She breaks a rib, she bruises her knee, and she suffers extreme gasoline inhalation. She's in a closed-up basement with gas fumes, and her throat's raw, she's got a broken rib, and a fully broken rib, and her knee is bruised and swollen. The day after this happens, the very next day, she has sex with one of the characters. Okay, maybe I don't know here, ladies. Maybe you can clue me in. Maybe if you're sadomasochistic, I could understand it. But who's having sex the day after? Sex is, if you're doing it right, is a very jarring activity. Who's having sex with a broken rib, a bruised knee, and a gas inhalation? First off, her throat's all jacked up because of the, not smoking, it's a gasoline inhalation. Her throat's all burnt up and messed up, and she's having problems breathing as it is. But also she has a broken rib, which causes breathing problems also. I know because I've had a broken rib, my mother had a broken rib, and I had to take care of it. It's just drawing a breath, but much less, that kind of breathing as one does when, they're in coitus. I don't understand that it was going so well. In fact, Shell, I think, was more angry than I was. He's like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And we ended up making fun of, for the most part, the ending of the book because it completely ruined our experience. We didn't find the ending as poignant as it maybe should have been. We were laughing, we were joking, because every single time this character would do anything, I was like, but your rib is broken. It was absurd. It was absolutely ridiculous. To the point that I actually messaged my contact at the publisher and asked them if this was the actual final version of the book. Other than, like fixing typos or whatever. I was like, this can't end this way. I was hoping they would say there's a possibility it might change, but they said, I'm pretty sure that this is the final version of the book. And I can't imagine. And this was written by a woman. I don't. You hear all the time men writing, either bad sex scenes or men forcing, situations or whatever. This woman had a broken rib, had suffered from gas inhalation, and she had a bruised knee, and yet she's hunching with this dude. It blows my mind. It made me so angry because the rest of the book is absolutely perfect. I loved it. Every single page. And then that stupid chapter. It is the chapter right after Ben's final chapter. In my opinion, I'm not trying to tell Fawcett how to write her book, but in my opinion, all that stuff at the end, first, get rid of that chapter where Claire and Mitchell fuck. Get rid of that chapter completely. There's no reason for it. Well, maybe, the thing where, he's like, he's going to be there for her and so on, and then move on to the final chapter, and then take Ben's final chapter and put that Joker at the end. It would have had so much more punch ending with Ben. Both me and my wife felt so. You might disagree when you finally read it, or hopefully you're not here, because this is the spoiler section. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. That's why I'm so damn angry after having finished this amazing book and gotten that utterly ridiculous chapter there toward the end. But have you read Beneath the Stairs by Jennifer Fawcett? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you feel meh about it? Let me know down there in the doobly-doo. But let me know in detail so that we can have a discussion. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another book review. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!